Hello and welcome to KnitScents. My name is Jan and you can find me as Jan Ellen RN on Ravelry and on Instagram. And today I am going to be reviewing the Daedalus Starling Mini, which is an e-spinner. And I went on their website. I'm honestly, I don't know how old this wheel is, how long it's been in production, but I do know that it's a fairly new wheel to the market. And I'm just looking at their website now, so I'm going to just give you some background details. So I'm looking at my iPad now to see from their website. They are made from carbon fiber and 3D printed ABS plastic. Starling is a light Scotch tensioned electric spinning wheel that is optimized for finer weights and higher speeds, which is pretty much what I spin, which is why I chose to go with the Starling Mini. Capable of over 1850 RPMs, yet Starling is just as comfortable walking and jogging from 300 to 900 RPMs using the same power plant as the Blackbird being the largest wheel that they make. And I will go into showing you, they say the bobbin can be changed very quickly. The orifice is 12 millimeters, which if I remember correctly, the maker of the wheel, his name is David. He and his wife are a team. He creates each and every one of the wheels. Told me that that comes to just under a ½ inch, if I remember correctly, but it is 12 millimeters. And I'm going to go into the bobbin capacity, but it says here it's 8 ounces for this little mini Starling that I have, and it's 12 ounces for the XL, the Starling XL. The Blackbird, which is a larger wheel for more, I would say, art yarn or very heavy plying. I don't have the specs really on that one. I could pull them up, but I'm really on the Starling page because that's the wheel that I'm going to be going into today. So I just wanted to give you that information. I also know that their lead time now is, as of June 2019, the delay from order to shipment is 40 to 60 days. So there's about, I would say, a 6 to 8 week lead time from when the time that you order to the time that you would receive your wheel at this point. The Starling package includes the wheel, 3 bobbins, power adapter, the orifice hook, and two drive belt. So it's one drive belt comes on the machine, you do get an additional one, and you get a spare rear bearing that comes with the machine. And the other thing that I do want to mention from their website is the standard Starling comes in black with silver trim, and I believe the bobbins will be either black or silver. That's the standard. But you can customize your colors, and I don't have up here, I do know there is a yellowish gold, there's a pink, there's a purple. You can customize the body of the wheel itself and make the body the color that you want, and then the bobbins and the knobs and things will be black, or you can do it the other way, which is the way I have it, which is the body of the wheel is black and the knobs and things and the bobbins are a purple, which I will show you in a moment. I'm actually going to switch to my other camera and go close up on the wheel, but I did want to give you the background on it. I can say that I did have a chance to speak. They were vending at SSK, so I did get the opportunity to really speak to the designer, the inventor, the creator of the Starling wheel, hear about his process, his thought process. From what I've been told, he has a background in drones. So he's very familiar with vibrations and sound and things like that. And I think his wife is the spinner. And it was very important that he make the wheel to be as user-friendly as possible, meaning that I don't think there's anything on the wheel that the user cannot change out themselves, including the motor. So if down the line the motor burns out and you need to have it changed, it's a part that you can change yourself. The front maiden is removable. You can change that yourself. There really isn't anything on here that you can't take care of and maintain yourself. There is no oiling of this wheel. It comes greased. It does take, I believe he said 10 to 20 hours for that to really get absorbed into the machine. So you may not be able, you know, at your top speeds, you may have a little bit of a lag just as you break in the machine, but that's really the only break-in that there is for this. And I think that's really all I have to say about it, other than that he was very, very passionate about the wheel being super, super uber quiet and having very, very little vibration. That was really what he was working toward, was a very user-friendly wheel, a wheel that spun silently, seamlessly, and I have to say, from trying the wheel, and I don't have too many miles on it, so we're gonna kind of get through this together. We're gonna we're gonna explore this together. But I can say that this practically does spin itself. This was the perfect model for me. I tend to spin thin, I tend to spin finer yarns, so I did not look at the Starling XL. I didn't even consider the Blackbird, which is a bigger wheel. I will link his website below so you can take a look at those and see if maybe those may be more along what you need. But let's get into the wheel, let's get familiar with the wheel, and let's review. So here is my Starling Mini, and as you can see, the body of mine is black, and I'm going to turn it to show you that the buttons on the front, this is your Scotch tension knob, this is your speed control. It also functions as an on-off switch. If you don't want to use the actual power switch, this is the switch that determines whether you're doing an S-ply or a Z-ply. So basically it just changes the direction of the flyer. This is where you wind off your fiber. It's just a convenient place to, you know, not lose your twist and hang your fiber onto. Okay, here your orifice is in the front. Your drive band is right here. And from what David has said, a lot of my wheels, I need to remove the drive bands because they tell you that if you leave it on for too long, it will get stretched out. It specifically says in the directions that there is no need to remove this, that this quality of poly whatever band is not going to stretch out. And they do give you an extra one, so you should be good for a while with the drive band. So that's the front of the wheel. Here is your front maiden. Your flyer is right here. You have two sliding hooks, one on either side. They just slide up and down. If you're familiar with the Lendrum, I know that one has a very similar mechanism. Your fiber would go, well, your bobbin, you would thread your leader or your yarn, whichever, through this front hook right here. There's another hook here in the flyer. You hook it through there, and then it comes through. And I'm going to take off the back, and I will show you. Actually, you can see it. There are two little magnets on the back here where your orifice hook attaches. And once you come through this second hole in the flyer, you put your orifice hook through, and you would continue to thread your yarn. And then you put this back on the back, and there you are. So that's how you thread your bobbin. How you would change a bobbin. Let me just go into this tension first, and then I will show you how to change the bobbin on the wheel. Just trying to get the entire wheel in there. Okay. The wheel uses Scotch tension. As I said, this is the knob that controls the tension. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can really see. Okay. The spring mechanism is right here. So here's your knob to adjust it. Here is your spring. This is, I believe, a silk covered cord that goes around this pulley right here. It goes over the whorl in the back of the bobbin, right here. And then it attaches to a hook on the opposite side. Okay, so let me zoom back out again so that I can show you how easy it is to literally remove the Scotch tension. You would just take it from the hook over here, turn it around. It's hooked right onto here. You take it off. It unhooks right away from the pulley and just drop it down. To change your bobbin is super simple. You do not have to remove your flyer at all. You simply lift the flyer up. It's still attached in the front. This has a spring sort of mechanism. There's no spring, but it's springy, a spring action. And there's a little bearing in the back here, which I'm going to pull off. Okay, let's see if I can show you. That's the bearing, the rear bearing. And there's a spot here. This whole thing is magnetic. So if you just pop it there, you won't lose it. And you swing it over to the right. Slide your bobbin off. Oh, well, I actually can't because I just realized I have yarn attached. But you would just slide your bobbin off, slide your new one on, pop the bearing back on, and then pop this back right as it is. There's no moving, there's no measuring, there's nothing. It is super, super simple. I'm going to show you that again. You lift this flyer up, just lift it up, bring it out to the side, remove that rear bearing. You would then slide off the bobbin, assuming it's not hooked on. Actually, I will pull this whole thing off. Let's just go for it. Okay, because I'm just threaded through here, so we have to show you how to thread it anyway, so let's just pull this out. Okay, so you pull the whole bobbin off. Okay, you place the new bobbin on. Now the only thing is you want to make sure that you put the end with the whorl, which you can see is right there. Put that on the end with the rear maiden, slide it on. Take this rear bearing, pop the rear bearing on, and lift this right on, and your bobbin is changed. Okay, so I'm going to swap it back. Oops. So that I can show you how to spin before we... Okay, so I've got my bobbin with the fiber back on the wheel. I'm going to take my orifice hook from the back and I'm going to rethread. So I've got it through that first loop and I'm going to put it through the second loop on the flyer. And then I'm going to thread it right through the orifice. And pull it through. And there you are. Your machine is threaded. And again, you have this piece here, which you can just wind your yarn off into. And then once you've changed your bobbin, or if you've changed your setup, you want to just make sure that you put your Scotch tension band back on. So all I'm doing is there's a hook here. Again, this spring is put onto this hook. This whole thing actually comes off. You just put it onto the hook, under the pulley, over the whorl, and then into the hook that I showed you on the other side. And that's it. So now let's try some actual spinning. I have plugged the power cord. Right now I'm not using the foot pedal. I'm going to just use the controls on the front of the machine, and I'm going to show you the power cord. There is, and I'm trying to see if I zoom in, let's see. I don't want to make anybody seasick. Okay. There is right here. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Well, the input is right here, where you just take your power supply cord and you plug it in. And that will power up your spinner. So we're all plugged in and ready to go. I want to show you on the front, I have the machine turned off from this switch. This is your speed control. It also functions as a power on and off switch. That's one way to do it. You can also use the switch here, which is your, again, your Z twist or your S twist. That also functions as an on-off, and that's an instant on-off, as opposed to using this, which will ultimately just slow down your spinning till you stop. This is your power light, and I'm going to show you when you turn your machine on, that will begin to glow, and I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you can. Mine glows purple. And if your machine is pink, it will glow pink, but it glows. Now I have the machine turned off, so that's why it's not turning. But there you can see, it will glow whatever color. Let's see if we can turn it all the way up. I think my light, there you go. Okay. So I have the machine turned, I'm going to turn it all the way down. Oops, that turned it off. Let me untwist myself here. And I'm going to let you listen to what the machine sounds like. I'm going to get it going, and we're going to see what the machine sounds like. Now, I've knocked a lot of this out of wax, so okay, so let's turn it on and let's do some spinning. Now, as you can tell, there is, I'm going to just be quiet for a few minutes, which is difficult for me. We all know that. But I want you to hear how quiet the machine is. I'm going to add a little more twist. Super, super, super quiet. And that is one of the really great features of this wheel. The other one being that the entire wheel weighs 2 pounds. It is extremely light. Now I want to show you what happens if you use, now let's say I want to keep my speed where it's at. I don't want to change the speed because that's what I'm comfortable spinning with right now, but I want to turn the machine off. I just use this on-off switch right there. It's actually the direction switch from S to Z, but there is a center position and it turns your wheel off. Okay, that's the switch that I showed you underneath the speed control. And then you would wind your yarn off and you can walk away from your project knowing that when you come back, you're still set. And I'm actually going to show you, I'm going to move my bobbin, my thread hook up a little bit, because this bobbin, I don't know if I mentioned, I believe I did, but this bobbin holds a full 8 ounces. That's what they say. However, I've been told that if you are very good at packing your bobbins, you can pack over 9 ounces on here. I'm not all that great at packing my bobbins, but I have been trying to remember to move my hooks along. So they're very easy. There's no pinching, no nothing. You just slide it along. And when you come back to spinning, you just turn your wheel right back on again, and it's right where you left it. And you see I'm just literally feeding in. I actually prefer double drive. So this was a big leap for me, but I prefer very light take up. And I think that's one of the reasons why I prefer double drive. And I have my tension literally turned all the way down, and this is like butter. This is not grabbing the yarn out of my hand. It's not grabbing the fiber. It's just literally spinning itself. I don't know any other way to put it. It's extremely smooth. There is no vibration in the machine at all. I'm going to be quiet again so you can hear what it sounds like. Super quiet, super smooth, and it's really easy to operate. So I've been really thrilled with this purchase. I have to say, I had been in the market for an e-spinner for quite some time. I got the opportunity to try this one, and as I said, they were vending at SSK, so I did get to speak with the creator, the inventor, the manufacturer of the Starling, and he was very passionate about it. You could tell that it was something that he really wanted to get it right. He really wanted to make it right, and I think he nailed it. I really think he nailed it. I'm gonna stop it now. And what I'm going to do, and I haven't tried this yet, so this should be very interesting, is I'm going to hook up the foot pedal and then come back and we'll try it and see what it looks like with the foot pedal. Okay, so now I have the foot pedal hooked up, and let's give it a whirl and see what happens with the foot pedal. So I'm just literally clicking it on. The machine starts up right away, right at the speed that I left it at. And my foot is not on the pedal, okay? It's simply functioning as an on-off switch. To be perfectly honest, this is the first time I've actually used it. I've been literally using the switches on the front and having no trouble at all. You could actually put this on the table, the pedal or switch, because it's really what it is just a switch, and not have to have it on the floor. There's a very long cord on it, but you really don't need to use the foot pedal. I mean, I've been getting by fine without it. It just literally is a switch, because I'm going to step on it again and let's see if there's a lag when it stops. So here we go. It stops immediately. There's no lag time at all. So as soon as you click on it, it's the same as clicking these switches. There's no lag at all. On. And off. And then you just wind your yarn around that little knob over there, and you're finished. So I think that pretty much shows all of the features of the wheel. Again, you have great control over your speed with the speed control dial, which I'm going to turn this wheel to the front and show you the front again. You have your control with your speed control. This simply glows when the machine is on. Obviously it turns off when the machine is off. This is your Z twist and your S twist, but this also acts, right now I have it set to spinning, not plying. So let's see, that's going to the right. I believe that's S twist. Yeah, S twist. But I could just as soon in the center position have it turned off, and that would turn the machine off. So to be honest, if you're considering purchasing one of these, I don't think I'd jump in and get the foot pedal right away. I don't think it's necessary. Again, this is your Scotch tension control. The Scotch tension is super easy to operate. There's a hook here with the spring. It goes on here, underneath this pulley, over the whirl that's on the bobbin, and then hooks into this nice size hook with the loop on the other side. So that's all there is to the Starling Mini. It's a very quiet, super easy, super lightweight for what it does. Again, there are 2 other models, so that is the Starling Mini. So I hope that that helped you out if you're considering purchasing an e-spinner. This is the only e-spinner I have, so I can only speak to this one. There's a couple of things. There's actually only one thing in particular that I would like to see changed about it, and I will show you what that is. And it may be because I have my tension, it may be totally me, and I'm actually probably going to email him or tweak around with it and see. This, to me, this is very loose, and I think part of the problem is that I have this literally set to no tension. So I'm just gonna take the tension up a little bit and see if it's still pretty easy to mess with that. So if you're putting it in like a case to carry it with, even, I mean, I know that I've been knocking it or picking it up and whatnot. Is that a deal breaker? No. I just think that, I don't know, there must be a way or somehow to make this a little bit less easy to move out of position. That is my one critique of the wheel. Again, it's not a difficult thing for me because I'm spinning with very, very little tension on there. Even if if I had to put a little bit more tension on it, it's not a big thing to just adjust your tension as long as my speed control isn't moving. And again, that you'd kind of have to really push. And I'm not sure, again, on another e-spinner, if that has the same issue. Again, on my wheels, my regular wheels, that is, the Scotch tension, it's bumping the wheel isn't going to affect the Scotch tension, whereas on here, it will. That's my one critique of the wheel. Otherwise, I find this, like I said, I am holding this up with one hand and it weighs nothing. So that's a big draw for me because this is something I would feel very, very comfortable traveling with. And that's been a concern because I flew down to SSK this year as opposed to driving, and I was not able to take my wheel. I flew down to SSK this year as opposed to driving. I have driven down in years past and my wheel wasn't an issue. One wheel we actually had strapped in the seat. Another wheel I had, I think, my sidekick at the time, so that went in the back. But this year flying, I really didn't have any wheel that I felt comfortable checking, and I didn't want to get a whole big suitcase, and you know what I'm saying. So this is a wheel that I would feel very, very comfortable traveling with. This is an easy carry-on. I know that a lot of people use the Zuka bag for it. I actually was gifted a little carry-on bag, but a very, very small one that you could lift, or it actually has a telescoping handle. Ultimately, I probably will get the Zuka for it because I think you can put it on top of the Zuka, which is really nice. Mine is one of those canvas type bags. And like I said, other than the Scotch tension thing being a little loose, and I can't speak to other wheels how that works on it, I have absolutely no complaints with this wheel whatsoever. I'm so thrilled with it. I'm actually going to show you what I have on the bobbin. So you can see it's really spinning. And this is the first that I've spun on it. This is the first braid of fiber. This is my first use of it. So it's been really zero learning curve. So what can I say? I mean, I'm very happy with it. I highly recommend this machine. I will say that if you are considering purchasing one, I probably would not jump in and get the foot pedal. I don't think in any way it's necessary at all. To me, there's so much wire on the floor right now, and it's basically just the ability to turn it on and off with my foot. I'm not sure why that would be necessary unless you just really didn't want to put your yarn down, or I don't know. I mean, you could hold it in one hand and turn the button. There's no delay. And I thought I had heard some people say that when they use the foot pedal, there was a delay, which would actually be nice, because if there would be a delay, you could do that, move your hooks on your flyer, and then just step back on it again. But it doesn't. It is instant. The minute you you step on that switch, it turns on. The instant, again, you step on it, it turns off. So I don't see the need for the foot pedal. So that could save you. I'm not sure how much that ran, but I don't think, if I were repurchasing, I don't think I would even consider the foot pedal. I would consider the battery pack. The battery pack is a standard, he did say that it comes in, it's a lithium battery, but it comes under what you cannot fly with. So you can fly with the battery. Personally, I'm so paranoid, I probably would pack it and not spin on the flight anyway, unless I was going, you know, across the country, in which case I might actually attempt it. But I would recommend, highly recommend, especially if you're going to take the wheel and spin on the go. Then the battery is kind of almost, you need it. It's not 100%, because you could, you know, if you're going like to a Starbucks or whatever, clearly you could plug the wheel in. But I would recommend the battery if you're going to be going, if you go camping, if you're going anywhere where you're not going to be near an outlet, then I probably would recommend the battery pack. And it gives you, he does have very specific directions packed in with the battery pack as to how many volts you want to charge it to, and how many volts you want to let it go down to before you recharge it, to make sure that you get the longest life out of the battery. But when you have a fully charged battery, according to what he tells you to charge it to, you will get 10 hours of spinning time, which is a lot of spinning time. I know I personally couldn't sit for 10 hours and spin. As much as I'd love to, I don't think I'd get away with it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this is helpful for anyone who is considering the wheel. If anybody has the wheel and needs some more detailed information on how it works, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would subscribe. This way you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. And please leave a comment in the comment section below if there's anything else you'd like to see reviewed, that you'd like to see on this channel. Just let me know and I will do my best to accommodate you. So again, thank you for joining me, and until I see you the next time, remember to knit or spin with sense.